I'm Angie. I'm Rhonda, and we're Adventures of No Madness. We have been full-time in our Escape now for over 4 years. We love the Escape. It's molded fiberglass. It's worked well for us, and it has been amazing. It's held up really well. And we're going to give you a tour of our Escape 21C. It has bigger tanks, a little bigger water tank, and gray and black tank than the 21NE. So for being full-time, you know, unless you want the 5.0, which has the same tank size as this, the 21C has been perfect for us for full timing in. All right, just a quick tour of the outside. We've got our front storage box. This is an option, but it's really not. I don't know why you would not go with this, because we have all of our outside stuff, our chocks and electrical stuff. It's kind of a mess, but you know, 2 tanks up here, and we also went with the electric jack because we've had a previous RV where you had to crank that up all the time, and that's a big pain in the butt. And then we do have an extra solar panel as well that we have plugged into the Zamp port because the sun, we've had so much rain lately. So this right here is an outdoor hatch. So basically this is storage we can get into, and it's underneath the bed, which is great. There's an option for another one if you wanted under the dinette, but we wanted as few access points as possible. It's easier to get in over here because of where that is behind the bed. So I've got a lift kit I put under the bed, but this section right here is definitely kind of hard to get into. So this is a good one to have. This right here is the outdoor shower. And after coming up from a lower 48, our trailer is very dirty right now, so excuse the mess. So we just have a hose that hooks up to that. And then we have cold and hot water. There is an option to put one of these outside showers on the opposite side as well. And if we had to do it over again, we probably would have both, one outside shower on both. And with dogs, because we do bathe them occasionally outside using this, or if you wanted to do dishes, I think it's a little bit more, I think it's easier to do it on that side when you come out of your front door, and then you're just right there instead of coming around. So I think in the future, if we ever had to do this again, we would probably have one on the other side too. And then our hot water access is right here. This is a 2-way switch, so basically this will run off of propane or electric. Outside light, which is very nice to have. And our furnace access. So every once in a while we'll have to clean the sail switch on the furnace, and then we'll access that over here. You do see that we put some bug shields on here too. Plug myself, we actually have a couple videos on putting those in. And this is a coax cable. Honestly, we don't use it. I don't know, I think if you had a Wii Boost or something like that, you can probably plug it in and then use the coax cable on the inside for the boost itself. But yeah, we don't do cable, we don't have a TV, so that is just, this is our fridge access. This is the only place we've ever had ants come in. So this is in Mexico, and we were parked by grass. Ants got up here. Amazing. And then came through and then all the way into the RV. So even though we have bug screens here, it doesn't matter. They just managed, ants are ants, and they just managed to. So put a couple of ant traps in there and got rid of them. But that was literally the only invasion of rodents or anything ever. And then our water access, so this is our fill for our water tank, which is 28 gallons. And then this right here is the city water, so basically just add a hose there. Okay. And then, which for us, because we don't stay in campgrounds hardly ever, we usually just fill up our water tank here and use our water pump inside. So this is where we store our sewer hoses. And this came with the Escape, and then we added a second one because every once in a while you'll have an instance where you need more than 10 or 15 feet. So we have 2 hoses here. This is our electric access. There's an option that we went with to have a removable electrical cord, which I highly recommend doing what we did. This can be when you have, our first RV had the type of electrical cord where you push in and then it wraps around inside. But that is a great access point for rodents to get in because it's basically a hole right there. So this one, the electrical cord just unhooks and then you put it away in the front box. So that's definitely the way to go in my opinion. Okay, a couple things we added back here. This battery box, we have our sewer connections, so like the L connection in here and gloves. That way it just keeps it away from, you know, the other stuff up front. I didn't take the cover off, but this is where we have our two mountain bikes. And so we have the one-up bike rack, which is pretty much the gold standard of bike racks. And all the bouncing around up here to Alaska over all the frost heaves and potholes, it held up really well. This right here, oops, did this other battery. Because we have a Starlink, we had to try and figure out how to get the cord inside.
Oh, you guys are brilliant.
Yeah.
Look at you, you're genius.
Because we have the router inside, obviously, but the antenna has to go outside, so we're like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna do that? And there's a couple options, but this is really the best option because we switched out our AGM batteries and we didn't really need the venting anyway, and we have lithium batteries now. This was designed to be the vent for the original batteries, and instead of just covering that up, we just kind of cut a hole in that and then put the cable right through there and then put that all in the box. So this is like 75 feet of cable. I'm trying to figure out where to store that with access to outside. Over here we went with the manual awning over the automatic awning. And because we do so much camping in the Pacific Northwest where our families are, and up here in Alaska where there's been a significant amount of rain this summer, this has been the way to go. One person I know sort of, I think had a really great description of the two awnings. And one of them was like the automatic awning is more for sun protection, not rain protection. And the manual awning is way better for rain protection. One of the big things we can do with this is tilt it down so the rain comes off easily. And with the automatic awning, it tends to pool in the middle and it's not good. Also, when it retracts, when we bring this down, we can actually brush it all off and get all the debris off of it. With an automatic awning, because it's so much higher and you can't drop it down, you can't brush all the tree debris and the stuff, and it tends to get into the housing when it goes back in. So for us, this is the way to go. We have the ZAMP port right here that our solar panel is plugged into. And then an option was to have extra ports. So we've got a 12-volt cigarette lighter and then USB plugs right here. And then some other plug-ins right there.
So you guys have 300 amp hours?
We do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. And we rarely ever have to run our generator now to charge up our batteries. We did put a soft start on our AC here, so we can run our AC air conditioning off of our generator. And our generator, we converted to propane also, so we use that on propane a lot.
Come on!
Yeah, so that way we don't have to carry gas with us because we always have propane. We could actually hook up our generator to this.
Okay.
We tend to just hook up to our third tank, but we can. This is good also if people have a type of barbecue that can hook up to there and you just have it right here.
That's pretty cool.
We use it occasionally, but we don't really use it that much.
Yeah. And you have keyless entry?
We do.
That's pretty cool. So you just put in your little...
Yeah. And for us, this is a bit of a peace of mind with the dogs. So if we leave them behind and someone needs to come in, we can just tell them what the code is instead of leaving a key behind. Escape started putting these hydraulic assists on, and it's really squeaky and you can only open the door this much. Mm-hmm. And then when it's windy, it's just like really straining against that. So we're gonna put the friction hinges on here, which I have on order, and that way we can open the door the whole way. I kind of was getting used to it for a while, but now I really kind of hate it. When we ordered our Escape, we had the option of two different window styles, the frameless windows or the framed that slide. And we went with these because we like the look of them. And another reason, again, because of being in the Pacific Northwest and Alaska so much, the rain tends to just slide off instead of having big windows open that the rain, if it's blowing sideways, might come in. Those have worked well for us. And if you hang on just a second, I'll show you a mod that we did. All right, one thing when you get these Lippert windows, they only opened about this much. And so we took out the, basically the spacers in here, and we're able to open them almost twice as much.
That's cool.
So that has allowed more airflow for us.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
being in hot climates like Mexico, that has actually made a really big difference. So these are just suction hooks. So we want to put our wet coats out here when the awning is up. That's pretty helpful too.
And they stay up when you drive?
No, we take those off.
Okay, got it.
One mod I did is put this plexiglass right here. We had my sister-in-law's dog, really nice dog now, but when we first were kind of camping on her property for a little bit, her big dog was very aggressive to our little dogs and literally almost went through the screen here. And if we hadn't caught her in time, it would not have been good for our little dogs. So I put this plexiglass here. A big piece of mind too in Mexico, because there's so many street dogs down there, that if we were walking around visiting our friends and left the door open, we had a little bit more peace of mind with this being more solid. So, because you've been to Mexico too, so you know there's a lot of stray dogs, and they're usually pretty friendly, but occasionally not so much. She was getting ready to retire, and I was watching, videos on full-time RVing. We'd had a previous travel trailer, and then we downsized to a little tiny teardrop, a tag. And I'm like, hey, what do you think about, just going full time? And she's like, she imagined her retirement being more in the condo and then in Washington and then doing trips with an RV. But I don't know, after thinking about it for a while.
It took me about a week.
Yeah. We went on a trip with our tag. It was only about a 5-day trip. And they're tiny, and the kitchen's in the back, and if the weather's bad, you really don't have a lot of room to just kind of relax and sit inside. But it was one of the best trips, and we didn't want to come back to the condo. So I think that was one of the changing points for you. It's just like, yeah, this would be really fun to just stay on the road.
Yeah, we don't want to change a thing right now.
Yeah, after 4 years, we just can't even imagine. It's nice to be here for a couple months, sometimes stretch our legs to just get off the road a little bit. But as far as not being in our RV the rest of the year, we can't even imagine. We just sold our condo in Snohomish in Washington, and I have no regrets about that whatsoever. So we don't really see any time that we want to come off the road off of this.
So you don't foresee yourself stopping this lifestyle anytime soon?
No way.
That was unanimous right away.
I don't have to think about it.
Yeah, we don't have to think about it. We have made more friends on the road than we ever did living for 10 years in our condo. You may have experienced the same thing. It's amazing the community of people and friends that we've been a part of, and some of our very, very best friends we've met while traveling. So it's been an amazing experience. Mm-hmm. We added these 2 bars. We just bought these off the shelf at Camping World, and there's just 4 screws here, so you just drill in. Because there's 2 screws on the back, and I just put 1 in. Okay. But yeah, these are totally adjustable depending on how wide your door is or what your screen is like.
That's really neat.
And this is great because we have 2 little dogs, so just hanging, dog towels and stuff, or towels in general, or wet socks, or whatever.
Cool.
Like that.
Great. Oh, the little paw prints. It's so cute. Oh my God, I love it in here.
Thanks.
It's beautiful. Oh my gosh, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. I love Dr. Seuss.
We added the over the door hooks here, so we do tend to hang up our jackets right here, and hats. And that's a little dog bowl right there. And then the nice thing with Escape is you can literally add as many plugins as you want. And I would say that we probably could have added even more as far as USB plugs, at least. We went with the maple interior.
It's beautiful.
And the choices right now are maple, oak, or the contemporary, which is the white. But we were really happy with the maple. We do tend to keep this little collapsible dish pan in here, especially when we're at our own property. So if we don't want to fill up our gray tank, we just do dishes in here and then just throw it out there. A couple nice things we got in Mexico, so soap dispenser and hand sanitizer. One of the things we do to conserve on water is we just take one of these, add some dish soap and some water, and then spray our dishes. And that actually saves quite a bit of water. We love our Berkey, and I have to say, the reason when we first got our Berkey is when we were up here during COVID and trying to get the cabin ready, because we didn't want to live in this in the wintertime. We were in here to 10 below, which was a stretch. These are not a 4-season trailer, but with all the extra insulation we have, we were, you know, able to make it to 10 below. But we were getting water at a friend's house out of her well. We noticed the ucky. I mean, it was kind of like rusty. So we have a couple of 5-gallon containers in the cabin with a foot pump. A lot of people do that for their van builds out to make it really easy. So we copied a van video and did that in the cabin, but we noticed through the tubes that they were getting really yucky and black, and like, oh God, we're drinking that. So we got the Berkey for water filtration, knowing that we would use it here in the trailer as well. We added this.
That's great.
Off of Amazon, so this is nice because it won't unroll, it's ratcheting. So if you're going down the road, you know, it's not gonna be like throw your paper towels all the way down. We have the sink cover.
So how is it when you drive? Do you have...
Yeah, so when we drive, we make sure the Berkey is empty, and we put the Berkey in here with this and strap it down. And then that way we have a good place to put that without it
being all over the place.
Being all over the place. Nice. Got that from the last rally.
Oh, okay.
And then one of the things I did in here was just add the pull-out drawer, so we did all that ourselves.
Oh, I love that. You guys are so handy.
Yeah, well, that ex-airplane mechanic is
that's right.
come in quite handy. And then more pull-out drawers.
It's beautiful. What are the biggest downsides to this kind of lifestyle?
Probably family and friends. I mean, you know, your older friends and stuff that you made. But we try to make it into Washington State at least once a year to try to catch up with everybody. So that's probably the hardest, I would say.
I know I have to really think about that one. I do miss our families, so yeah, not spending as much time with them, it would be the only downside. We don't mind fixing stuff when things go wrong. We've got people we can ask questions of if there's something we can't figure out. Escape's always great if we have an issue. So I don't know, there hasn't really been, other than not seeing family as much, there really hasn't been any downside to this for us.
What are the biggest benefits of this lifestyle?
The friends we've made and the travel, because we get to decide where we go, when we go, how long we stay at any place. So the flexibility that we have is, for me, one of the biggest things.
I think for me, I get tired of the same thing. So I love all of the change. Like, just there's so much to see. I never get tired of it. So that's the big thing for me.
And we've barely scratched the surface of places to see, both in the US and Canada. And we've done 2 winters in Mexico. I mean, there's still tons to explore there as well. But so much in this world to see, just even in our own 3 countries that we can drive to.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to start this lifestyle?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say do your research. Every RV is different. So we know people that are on their third or 4th RV compared to our 1 RV that we've had for full timing. Doing your research to really figure out what type of RV you might be, and that might be watching a lot of YouTube videos, going to as many RV shows as you can, and getting inside. Originally, we were going to go with a larger teardrop, one that you can go inside and have a kitchen and all that. And we were set on it, that's what we were gonna get. But after about the 4th time inside of it, we decided, no, this might not work. It's too small, it was a single axle. There was starting to be some manufacturing and leaking issues with it. And so we went up and looked at this one, or like, we were sold the first time we saw it. So I guess that would be my advice, is to just do as much research as possible ahead of time to see if you want what type of RV, number one, but also how you want to live full-time in your RV. Are you going to be traveling all the time? What kind of money does that take to travel all the time to see stuff? Do you want to be in an RV park and just be more stationary? So I think there's a lot of questions that people can sort of try and answer ahead of time to make that lifestyle easier. And there's certainly a lot of groups on Facebook as far as LGBT groups or escape groups or, Ford Transit groups. There's all these types of communities you can be a part of to ask questions of, especially on Facebook, to get a sense of what might work for you. What about you? Any more advice?
Well, that's a long-winded answer.
Sorry.
So I agree with everything that Angie said, but I think the biggest mistake that I see people making, or the biggest misconception, is that it's camping full-time, and it's really not camping. So if you're thinking the feeling that I have when I work and then I go out for a weekend, that's what you're going to experience, but you're just going to do it full time, it isn't. So you have to think about the fact that it's living full time. So you got to do things like wash dishes, find clothes, things like that, and downsizing. So if you're willing to do all that and you think that is, I say just jump in. I agree, do some research, but you just have to just try it, because it's the only way to find out if you like it or not.
I think we switch RVs 3 times, who cares?
Nobody wants regrets, at least I don't. So I try to live my life that way.
There was a recall on the original Suburban stove that we had, so we went with the Dometic and also put that in myself. I had to cut out around, so took a saw, cut this out a little bit more, and did the electrical connections and all that. So I actually like this stove a lot more than the old one. It looks nicer, and
Yeah, it's really
because
sharp.
some of the roads we bounce around though this doesn't bounce around, so we do put some bubble wrap under here when we're traveling.
Smart.
Yeah. Yes and no on the fan. It's not, I think you can have the option of not having this put in. I think, I don't know, I cook in here and sometimes it's nice to have, but Rhonda's taller than me, so she has hit her head on this a couple times. Yeah. But it's, it sticks out, and I've seen a cool mod somebody did at the Escape Rally where they took this out and they put a toaster oven in here, and then they still had this sort of fan because the toaster oven gets hot. They still have this fan, so something like that in the future I might consider attempting to do. Just be kind of cool to have a toaster oven in here.
It would be cool.
And another friend, Johnny Hung, has actually just added a toaster oven and like modified it so it's latched in here really well. One thing we had to replace the microwave. So the larger microwave had tabs that attached right to here. Our new microwave is smaller, and I did a Johnny mod and added the pull-out drawer. I've got a pin in here right now.
That's pretty cool.
And then added the door because it looked kind of ugly. So I just got that at the rally last month, and then added that ourselves too. What else? We do have a air conditioner unit. Escape offers a couple of different types now. This is this Dometic was the only one offered. Let's talk about the fridge. So this is a 6 cubic foot. This is an absorption fridge. So this one runs off of gas. This is actually a 3-way fridge, so it runs off gas, AC or DC. Now, if you run it on DC, it does tend to draw down your batteries pretty fast. The new refrigerators that only run on DC are much more efficient. So maybe next summer we might replace this with something that doesn't run off propane and just runs off our batteries, because I think we have the battery capacity to warrant that. Yeah, the compressor fridges are really nice. They're super efficient. And the problem with these absorption fridges is you have these fans, so it takes up a lot of room in there. So you can get like a 7 to 8 cubic foot fridge. I actually know somebody that has a 10 cubic foot fridge in the same space. You can put a bigger fridge in the same spot and have more room. And I was like, oh my God, it would be great to have a larger refrigerator. That would be amazing. It did come with panels that were pretty ugly, the wood panels. And at one point we did put out a video about replacing these panels, and we put some metal in here. And then a friend of ours, his Dometic fridge stopped, his same one. He happened to have these panels, magnetic obviously, and so we just swapped out his panels for what we had, and it actually looks nicer. Almost everything we have, we try to make it so it's rechargeable, and so we found these rechargeable fans off of Amazon, and those are amazing. So we just have our little charging station I made right here with all of our cords coming in, and then I just charge it up.
Can you tell me about this?
Yeah.
It fits in perfectly. Where did you
It
get
does.
this?
I know the Amazon find, so I don't remember who, but someone off of the Escape Facebook page had mentioned that. So I'm like, oh, we need more rooms as our, you know, full time. We never have enough storage. So yeah, this fits absolutely perfect in there for a little 4-drawer extra thing. So
And this is your propane detector
that's our
down
propane
here?
detector right there.
And I see that you have underbed storage?
Yes. And it might be a little messy under here, but I can show you what I do.
Oh, cool. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I
That
added these
is-
hydraulic struts. It's basically a bed lift kit, and some people will do something different. Well, they'll have a drawer that just slides out that they'll do themselves. And but I like but then you're limited basically to these, you know, containers that are right here.
Yeah.
And this way, you know, we can put stuff however we want it
Good job.
in this space.
That is really cool.
And then that outside hatch I was telling you about, that's way back in that corner. So that's definitely hard to reach from this side of the bed. This was originally what would be considered the wardrobe, but as full-timers, we're like, well, we don't need to have lots of clothes hanging up. We need a pantry instead. So basically put all these shelves in here, and there's different ways. Oh, sorry, there's different ways that people have done this, and we just put the
That's
pull-out
beautiful.
drawers and
Good job.
have all of our stuff in there.
Really nice. You have the Ute dinette.
Yes.
I love it.
And because everything revolves around our 2 tiny 10-pound dogs, we went with the U-shaped dinette so that if I'm sitting on one side and Rhonda's sitting on the other side, the dogs can go back and forth underneath the table. So one of the things I did do, we had the pedestal that goes up and down, and I changed that to a lagoon mount. So I installed this, and actually this has worked out really well because now we have all this space. We don't have this big marine, you know, thing coming up and down right in the middle, nor do we have the 2 posts. So this has been really nice, and of course this is all adjustable from here. The cushions we've had replaced just because after time these wear down, but the fabric itself, the nice thing about ordering through Escape is you can choose what type of countertops you want, or the style, the Formica, and the fabric that goes on. So there's a whole range of fabrics. So we went with this blue ultra leather, and of course that's held up really well over the time that we've had it. And then this all has under storage here, so these are easy to lift up, and there's all kinds of storage down there. We really think these are ugly. And eventually we'll replace these probably with a different color, or just put drapes to replace all of them. But we did take out some of the blinds and replaced them with some curtains right here. And that just gives a little bit more of a homey
That
look
looks
to it.
really nice.
Yeah, and it's nice, and they're really dark too. So these are actually a little bit darker than the actual shades. Yeah, so the captain's lights we rarely use. I'm actually going to replace these with some that have a USB so we can plug our phones in. One thing I feel like you can never have enough USB ports. So there's one down there. Yeah. So we replaced our stock inverter with a bigger one with this remote switch. So 2,000 watt inverter that we replaced our 1,500 watt.
And how much solar do you have on the roof?
We have. So it came with 270 watt panels. We recently, last year, replaced those with 215 watt panels. So we now have 430 watts on the roof plus our extra 100 watt panel that we can move around.
Now, is it easy to swap out your AGM battery system for a lithium battery system?
It was easy. We did have some help from a friend of mine that's a little bit more electrical savvy than I am. We pretty much just drop and played everything in. We did change out our converter though at one point. So we do have a larger converter, which might be a consideration you have to do when you upgrade your system to lithium. So that was already done before we did drop the lithium in. The lithium batteries are all underneath the bench right back here, and there's actually room for a 4th battery if we decide to at some point.
And the good thing about lithium is you don't have to worry about venting it, right?
Exactly.
So that's really
I know.
cool.
It's definitely very cool. So this is basically our indicator of all of our levels. So it's our fresh tank is about empty, and I've got a 30-gallon tank in the back of the truck that I went into town and got water, so I can fill up our RV tank here, our black tank, and our gray tank. So not full yet. A water pump here, and then our water heater. We can turn that on for running gas there.
And what is the approximate weight full of the trailer?
Yeah, great question. We have weighed this. We do need to weigh it again. The gross vehicle weight rating for this is 5,000 pounds, and we're right about 5,000 pounds. So if we got it, you know, maybe 100 pounds under as far as it being maxed. And we did weigh that with full water. We did weigh that with our AGM batteries, which were much heavier than our lithium batteries are. We will be weighing this again probably when we get to lower 48, just to see where we're at again. But all right, so the bathroom is a little bit crowded in there because it's small and we're full-time. I'm trying to like a couple things we did add. We do keep our garbage in here. Some people might be too crowded in there. We do take everything out when we take showers. We did add our own shower curtain, and then we've added a couple of other things to somewhat be organized in here. One thing we added was the soap dispenser. So this is really nice because now we don't have to have big things of shampoo and conditioner in big containers. We just refill this, which is great. If we get plastic bags from stores, we always reuse them and we just stick them in here. I mean, those are our secondary garbage, especially on travel days. Those are really nice to have these.
I love that you have storage for the broom in here. That's
yeah.
Talk about utilizing your space.
Yeah, we try. When we take showers, the shower curtain covers that up, so we just leave that right in there.
Yeah, perfect.
We really don't use this sink for anything, so you know we'll keep a few things like our toothpicks in there, and our toothbrushes are in the cabin, but that's usually where those go. And then one thing we did is we changed out the shower head that came with it with the isogenics. So these have a little bit more pressure using less water, and we replaced the hose with this more flexible one right here.
Perfect.
And that has worked out really nice.
Awesome. And finally, how can we find you online?
So we are on YouTube at Adventures in No Madness.
I'm wearing the sweatshirt.
Also on Facebook and Instagram. Don't do TikTok. I can't really figure TikTok out. So.
Awesome.
And sometimes you can find us on the road.
Yeah, that's true.